limits, man. Okay, calm down.
There is no other country in the world that claims to be the state, the nation state of people that have nothing to do with it, never had anything to do with it, citizens of other countries. And it's not that I come from Israel, that I'm an Israeli American. My family's from Poland. Germany, there are Germans in America that Germany does not demand their allegiance at all, but they still came from Germany. I never came from Israel. We have nothing to do with it. There is not a single country in the world like that. But the second thing that means, the flip side of that, is that if you're not Jewish and you're an Israeli citizen, Israel is not your country. Let me repeat that. You can move to Israel, be a loyal Israeli citizen, serve in its army, do whatever it tells you to do for generations, for hundreds of years. You could be Israeli and perfectly Israeli, speak Hebrew with a perfect Israeli accent. But guess what? Israel is not your country because you're not Jewish. Now, here's the question. Well, what does being Jewish mean to the Israelis? It's not my definition of Jewish, and the answer is they have never defined what a Jew is. Ben Gurion said there is no definition of a Jew. Those were his words. If that's true, though, how does somebody know if they're Jewish if there's no definition? Jabotinsky said Jews are a race. Other people said that Jews are some kind of tribe, even though they're not. They have no official definition of Jew, and therefore they have no official definition of Jewish state. Ben Gurion said that nowadays the Knesset, Israel's parliament, actually has the right to determine who is a Jew and who is not. And Israeli law says that even if you don't believe in God and you're not religious, you're still entitled to the law of return because you're Jewish. But if you were born Jewish and you believe in Christianity, or you practice Islam, you believe Muhammad is a prophet or that Jesus is the Messiah, you're not a Jew and you're not entitled to the law of return. Now, that's a contradiction. It makes no sense. If if you're born Jew, if it's some racial type thing, what difference is it what religion you practice? And if you can be an atheist, that you don't believe in any God and any Messiah and any prophet, that's okay. But if you believe in Jesus as the Messiah or Muhammad as the prophet or some other type of religion, you're not Jewish enough for them. And it's all arbitrary. That's the thing with Zionism. They're arbitrary, it's contradictory, the whole thing doesn't make sense. Now, how did it work? The way it worked is through propaganda. The way it worked is through tremendous propaganda. There's the Holocaust, and not only, it's not a question of Holocaust denial. In every town in this country, Katie, where there are Jews, there's a Holocaust memorial. There aren't yeshivas in every town, but there has to be a Holocaust memorial. A Pew survey a number of years ago asked what's most essential to Judaism, what's essential to Judaism to you, and the thing that came in first place was remembering the Holocaust. Now, of course, remember the Holocaust. Of course, there are lessons of the Holocaust, but Zionists made it front and center of Jewish identity. It became part of their identity. Yeah. Okay, now
like Norman Finkelstein's book, The Holocaust Industry.
Yes, I call it in my book, The Church of the Holocaust God. And it became part of their identity. Now, a Newsweek reporter named Alsop once told Golda Meir that he thinks she has a Masada complex because they're traumatized, these Zionists. And she said, yes, we have a Masada complex, and we have a Holocaust complex and a pogrom complex. The thing is that most people consider their complex as something to get rid of. They go to therapists for that. But to the Zionists, this is literally their identity. And because they don't have the traditional Jewish identity, the one that I identify with, they need to fill that gap with something. They have to fight and die for things and kill for things. And this Holocaust identity and this nationality identity, and it's all emotion, and it doesn't stay the same. They still haven't defined what a Jew is, or it doesn't matter. There's a Holocaust. It doesn't matter what a Jew is. We'll think about all this later. You had a lawyer on, and she was talking about law and international law. But what good after we get rid of the Hitlers and the Hitler du jour? We'll after we're safe. Everybody wants to kill us. There was a hit song in Israel once called Kol Olam and Kuloi Negdenu. The whole world is against us. It was an actual song, a hit song in Israel. Everybody wants to kill us. We got to get rid of, first we got to be safe. Then we'll worry about all these technicalities. And it keeps running and running and running like that. And it changes its arguments from one day to the next. And if you think that the actual identity theft, to steal the Jewish identity, is no longer their goal, I have a book over here happen to have, it's called Winning the War of Words by Einat Wilf. Okay? I once had a conversation with her, and it was supposed to be a debate, but she didn't want to call it a debate for good reason. And in any case, so she says that Zionism continuously changes its story. On page 98, the next frontier of Zionist inclusion is adapting the story to fit Christians, ultra-Orthodox Jews, and ultimately Muslims. We're all going to be part of the Zionist story. The Orthodox Jews, the Zionist story will be rewritten as to make ultra-Orthodoxy, that's me, into another equally genuine form of Zionism. The 2,000-year-long continuing existence of ultra-Orthodox communities in the holy cities of Jerusalem, Hebron, Sfas, and Tveria, for example, may be portrayed as having paved the way for modern Zionism and secured the path for the return of the Jewish people to their homeland. They want to make me into a Zionist. That's the goal. But it's not just me. They want to make the Muslims and the Arabs into Zionists too, and rewrite history so that everybody lives happily ever after. They're, I don't want to say shapeshifter because that's a people would say it's a trope. So it's like
trope, right?
so instead it's like a
Chameleon.
a T-1000 Terminator.
Okay.
Okay, you can't grab it. They keep changing their story. They say themselves they do this, right? Now, and that's why they insist that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism. Netanyahu wrote in his book, and Avigdor Lieberman has an article on Israel's own website. We have .gov. They also have the same type of thing. Israel's Ministry of Foreign Affairs website, and Danny Ayalon said it, and even Ben Shapiro, no relation to me, thank God, also said it. They said the following. If you want to know what Zionism is in a nutshell, by the way, this is a very good formulation. They said anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, meaning that if you believe Israel should not exist, you're an anti-Semite, and here's why. Japan is to the Japanese what France is to the French, what Israel is to the, finish that equation. It should be what Israel is to the Israelis.
Right, but it's not.
But that's without Zionism. With Zionism, France is to the French, what Japan is to the Japanese, what Israel is to the Jews. Now, and just as you can't say, I'm in favor of having a Japanese people, but I don't want Japan to exist. You can't say that. I'm in favor of having a French identity in the people without France. So too, you cannot say I'm in favor of having Jewish identity without Israel. That's Zionism.
That's what they want you to think. Yeah.
That's what they want you to think. And that's why anti-Zionism to them is anti-Semitism, and it's the conflation of Jews and Zionism. So we can all agree, I think we have enough people that agree, I don't have to convince anybody, that Judaism is not Zionism, and conflating the two is anti-Semitic. There are two types of people that conflate Jews with Zionists. Zionists conflate Judaism with Zionism. Anti-Semites do it in order to delegitimize Judaism by claiming that it's Zionism, and Zionists do it in order to legitimize Zionism by claiming it's Judaism. Now, we want to decouple that. That's the way to get rid of Zionism. Very simple. Decouple that.